This video is part 2 of seeing if we can resurrect a Salisbury axle. Well, yesterday was a pain of a job. The paint's dry on the axle now. Doesn't come out too bad actually. But what a mess about I had trying to get the brackets off. Those, you know, those old bits down there on the floor down there. They were a pig to get off. Lots of plasma cutting, lots of grinding. I wouldn't recommend trying to salvage them from an axle again. Just buy them. I think it's YRM sells them. They're not all that they're expensive, but I had them. I didn't have to ship them, so I thought I'd use them. The biggest problem was, like on these brackets here, they'd laced a great big weld this side and a great big weld on the inside to hold it to the axle. No big deal. I plasma cut it down there, and then I thought, oh, once that's off, I'll just grind it flush, both sides, and then I'll be able to snap that little piece of axle off. No, it would fuse together. It was just like weld all the way through, which is a little bit of an overkill because it's not all that thick anyway. So grinding, that was a clean mask yesterday. Unbelievable. So today, now the axle's all painted, well, it's partially painted. I just put a bit of spray on it just to stop the rust. Yesterday was a bit disappointed because I just got it in the shop just before it started to rain. And the brackets cleaned up really nice. These are for the brakes. I've got to try and get those screws out there. But again, a quick coat of paint is better than nothing at all. So my job today, got to weld these brackets on, but how am I going to weld them on? Because I'm sort of a bit perplexed. I've got the spring, these are for the spring mounts, and these are going to go on here. Now it seems to me that these are parallel to the bump stops here and the bump stops here. So that's a good clue. And also, you can see where the old one was, over there, look. And there you go. So you can see where the old one was, and perhaps you can understand why I was going to put two little drill holes here, here, here and here. So I've got alignment pieces for these two tangs. Then I shouldn't really be able to go wrong on those. So I'm going to put those on first because it looks like I'm going to get into a lot of trouble when I put the other brackets on. I found a bolt to go through the bracket, but from experience what I found out was that by grinding all this lot off here, if I put the bolt hole through, if I line the bolt holes up, what I'm trying to say, this is slightly off the axle a little bit. I don't really want that. I want it so that it's going to be in the right place. I can weld the gap up, that's not a problem. But I don't want it pulling in because that can cause the nose of the differential to turn to a different angle. So I'm going to have to put my thinking socks on and think about this. And I might have to make like a wooden bracket so I can work off the angle. I really don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But first of all, let's get these welded up and we'll work on those. But I think it's going to be, I think it's not going to be too bad actually. It's a lot better than I thought. But believe me, I spent all day on that yesterday. All day. And that's why I was saying, if Jeff's watching, that's why it wasn't an economic repair for you to pay me to do it, because it would just run away with you, because we haven't got onto wheel bearings, we haven't gone onto brakes, we haven't done anything like that yet. So anyway, that's that. So let me have a quick look at this and I'll come back. So we're going to go back and have a look at this axle. I've ground off the old mounts, and I've also got some calipers here, because the original tube should be 3 inch. Alright, now if we measure it here, we're about 1/8 of an inch off. So I've cut this down, these brackets here, they just want a little bit more, flattening off. But what I'll do is, because this is pockmarked here with rust, I'm going to put some beads of weld along here to strengthen it up, because it doesn't matter how thick I do this, because it's going to be hidden, and I'll do the same again here. But now I know my place where my bracket is going to go. That's not going to be too bad. Things you have to do, and this is one of the things we were concerned about when Jeff was here, was like it was a bit thin, but I don't think it's a big deal. The other side's fine, so it's just this one that needs a bit of repair. So I spent a bit of time on this. I've got numerous beads of weld across there. It's just a little bit bigger than 3/8, but that's not too bad. So that's just going to stop any further corrosion or anything like that. You know, that probably could have been a weak spot, but now we've got the proper bracket to weld on. That will pull it up nice and tight, so I'm kind of happy with that. So let's get the bracket on. I don't think that's going to fall off. The next problem is those brackets for the radius arms. That is going to be a problem, because I don't know how I'm going to do that. Well, after a lot of messing about, we got those parts changed. That's all that's left of the old ones. Now, would I recommend you doing this on the car? No, it's a bitch of a job to do. I mean, if you do it on some axle stands like I've got here, it's really easy. But I wouldn't like to do that on the car. I really wouldn't. So we'll take the camera off in a minute. We'll have a look at what we've done. How did I get the distances right? Well, I used calipers here, and I put a bolt in. I don't know if this is going to work out too well, but I put a bolt in here, and I got a caliper there. So between the bolt and the axle, I got that right. So the angle was right. It's very important. Anyway, let's have a bit of a tidy up now. We'll have a look around. So there we are. That's it. That's all built up there, back to standard height. It's been welded down this side and down this side. These have all been welded inside and out. That's not going to go anywhere. We've got some cup washers in there that's tack welded in. I only just sort of tack weld them in very lightly, just in case you want to take them out again. I put some extra washers on the sides because these didn't have any, and that's about it really. So she should be good. Should be good to go, hopefully. So now we'll just clean that off and put a little bit of paint on it. What's next? Stub axles and hubs, I think.